Back on site. Garage is going up nicely, just waiting on trusses. Laying out these concrete sonotube piers. We got precast just because of the cold temperatures. We use these a lot. They come in 4-footers and 5-footers. We got 5-footers because we're gonna have a foot sticking out of the ground, and we need the frost coverage, the 4-foot, so this much will be out. These are really sweet precasters, and show you real quick. They got a nice little gizmo that screws down in that we just hook on and move them. So yeah, so first things first, let's show you the print and show you what I did to lay it out. So we got 4 piers here, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is for this right here, the deck. Car could go under there, and it's the stairs in the back side to go upstairs. Okay, so there's 4 here, and then there's going to be 2 other ones for that hold the stairs up. So there's 6 total. Basically what you do is you run a string line off the building and recess it in the 4 inches so it will land in the center of the pier, and then you just got to go 6'9", 6'6", 6'9" apart. So I'll show you how I did that, and I'll show you how I'll keep everything so you don't have to do 1,000 measurements. It takes longer in the beginning, but it's better in the end. So I run a string line like this after I get my layout. I first got my layout by running the string down this building, ran it all the way out to get my first pier. Then my first pier is 6'9", 6'6", and then 6'9", okay? So the quickest and easiest way is I got a stake there, and I got a stake there, 11'9" off the building, which is where the piers are. And then I figure out, I put my first piece of tape right here, and then I measure over, I think it was 6'9" to the next one, then 6'6" to the next one, and I just plumb up to get my tape marks with a level to grab that. I'll show you real quick. Just use a level. After you got your layouts on the ground, you put your level down here, you plumb up, and you got your mark, and then double check all your marks. So basically what this is going to do is I'm going to take this string down now, and all my tape measurements are on. So once I take this string down, I put it there, I could dig each pier hole, put that string line back up, and that will be my mark. The pier will sit directly below this, so I don't have to pull a tape measure 8 times by myself over here, this, that, to try to get this thing straight. I'll just have this, put this line back up, and I'll be able to move those piers where they are. Hopefully that made sense. I've done it before in other videos. So I got the laser set. We're shooting the top of the foundation. That's our 1 foot right there, and that's the grade right here, finished grade, and that's the way it is all the way around. But so I just take the laser and I set it here, shot the top of that, and then measured. It was like right here, measured 5 foot up, and that will be the bottom of my trench. So if you went like, we're digging about 2.5 foot in the ground, 2 foot in the ground, and then the rest will have to be all filled up around it. Nice and nice. The other tip on this end of the string over here, there's the string coming down. Just put a piece of tape right at your stake, because when you got to take this down to dig, you want to make sure that you got the right pull, because you can pull this more and then those all will be off. So if you got a piece of tape right there now, undo it, just pull this thing as tight till that tape hits your stake, then you know you're at the right tension that you laid it out. All right guys, so right here in a perfect world, looking back, you know, the piers are tight. Normally in the conditions we just dig them the way I'm digging them. You can't get full scoops because you just don't want to disturb so much earth, but theoretically I probably should have just dug 1 straight trench. There was only a couple feet in between, and it was mucky ground, so it was really difficult to dig, but it would have been easier to grade that way for sure. And doing them like this, you know how I did the other sonotubes in my other videos, you know, it's the plunge effect. You can only stab the teeth down and curl and lift, and you know, it takes technique to do that. It doesn't look the prettiest to watch, but if you curl the bucket, you blow the bank out, and you over dig, and like, you know, you don't want to over dig too much. when you're an excavator. It's just more dirt, more mess, especially in these conditions with the snow and the ice melt. All right, let's see what we got. That is our height right there. I just shot it with the laser, and that's it. You make a square hole like that, cut it in a little bit over there, because you know you got your curl, so you cut it in, and you could use that as you throw your material in there, because you got to get down in the hole and square it up with a shovel like that. And I'll show you on the next one. But we got water coming in, so good thing we didn't go any deeper. That is the height. That's the same height as that, 5 foot down. And then this will all be filled in with the crusher run stone. All right, on to the next. Alright, there's 2 done. Water's really pouring in now. This one's really filling up. We'll have to pump it out if it gets too deep. But it sure is trickling in. All right, there we are. 4 holes. Probably took 20 minutes to dig them all. Another tip, put your shovel at your line, because you see how the lines disappear when you lay out, you always make a bigger T than you need, or an X, right through, so you could always see traces of paint. Otherwise, you lose your marks. But I always put a shovel there on the end of the mark so that I could see it in the cab no matter what. Put it on the opposite side where you're putting the dirt. This hole's not filling with water, very little. But these ones are filling up, and they probably will fill up halfway. I'm gonna have to pump them out, I guess. All right, so what do we got here? We got one set. Just basically, like I said, you screw that thing in the top, rig it up, it's hanging up. So here's my tape mark, pretty much centered on there, right where that's supposed to go. You flap that like that, and the piers there to level these piers up. Everything's at a taper for the frost. So if you see these precast piers, the frost will slide up and down. If it gets near it, it won't pick it because they're tapered. I don't know if you can really see that on the camera. But to plumb them up, you just level the tops like so, because you can't put the plumb stick on it like this because they're tapered. So to show you how much taper's in there, you got an inch, over an inch and a half taper. So you just plumb up the tops like this, level it that way, level it this way, and if you're on your marks with the taper and the string in the center, everything's good to go. Got water in there. I may pump it out, I may not. We'll see how much it builds up after lunch. But yeah, let's get the next one set. It's kind of tough doing this alone because they want to swing and then they hit the bank and knock dirt in. And the tops of these are the same height as the top of the foundation. So our dirt height finished is going to be about right here, crusher run in here. A foot down, which would be a foot down on there. Then the rest from this point will taper out, and that will help this lot out a lot because this is all low and it always holds water, as you see. right, that's 2 set. And another thing I'd like to point out about these precasters is that tool, you know, that we put in there, which is just a, you know, homemade bolt with a weld on it. That same threaded deal right there is, you know, you put your box on there and then you just bolt that down like an anchor bolt. You just bolt down your box, and then your 6x6 goes on that. Super slick. All right, that's 3 in. I called in the heavy artillery. I got Jimbo back. Jimbo.
Look at. Does that look like the place up?
Nah.
Wood stove over here.
All right, so they're all set nice. 3rd one, water's still coming in. I'll pump it out before I backfill. Get this 4th one set. All right, starting to pump them out. Oh, nothing but muck. Got a little update. We're gonna lower these down. Here's our grade. Then we're looking at the slope. We're gonna lower them down another foot. I'm gonna take all these back out. They're all set. Lower them down. Basically a waste of day, but it is what it is. Originally, when we discussed the project, we were going to the top of here. Now that we have them in and we see it is too high. Even though we're coming a foot with the grade, we'd be at that little dirt mark, then we'd have to taper it in. I mean, it would work out, but you don't want to bring all the fill in to taper that. So we could create a water issue here, but I don't know, it is what it is. All right, I got them all dug back out. A foot lower, so the top of the piers will be at the bottom of our drops, which is going to be, we still got to play with the grade over here because it drops off so much and then it goes back up over there because there's like a berm built here for the creek. It probably would have been fine where it was, but we would have had to bring in a lot more fill, so we'll see where this plays out. Anyways, all safetied off, and we'll be back in the morning. Back on site. Got frozen water in all the holes. Just broke this one loose, pumping her down. Frozen. It's pumping though. We'll get them pumped down, and I dug these out a foot lower, and we are going to have a muddy mess in the bottom, but we'll have to, I mean, look at the water leaching in. You can see that running water that's coming in. The water table is real high here. There's a creek back here, so I imagine those footings are just above that water table. That's why they didn't flood out too bad. But yeah, we'll get her pumped down. All right, let's see what we got. Got the muck boots on. It's like going down in the mud. I got one more hole. I pumped out as much as I could, but then I'm getting down to dry, and then I'll level those up. One more mucky muck. graded out with the laser in the bottom. Now I got my string. Good thing that I have this and remember my marks that I have on the string, because all my paint marks are gone from all the rain and moving around and redigging and resetting. So these should all be the same. It shouldn't have moved. And if you remember, there's my, this is my tension marker right here. That's how much I gotta pull it. So right there is tight. Now I gotta pull it all the way till that hits that. Then that was the same tension I had. All right, all set. So theoretically, everything should be in line. So there's my mark on this one. There's my mark on that one. So on and so forth. So it looks like my holes are pretty much in line again. We'll start with this one here. Got my hook on there. We'll give it a whirl. All right, pier number 2. We got the best GC in the world here. As someone commented, I got a kick out of that. They said he's the best GC in the world. This is a two-man job. You definitely, to get in the string, and it saves me from getting out of the machine 100 times. I already set them all Friday and pull them all back out, so gonna get the second one set. Because what happens is, you know, it hits the banks, and the banks are frozen right now, thawing out, so you breathe on them and all the material goes down in. Look at that. Ready? And he's got his marks right there on my string, and we're just gonna go nice and easy straight down. And I got my chain there so I can line the chain up with that black mark on. There you go. It's looking, not, see now she wants to tilt, so we got to fill in the bottom because, like I said, everything is mucky and crappy under there. But all right, we got that second one going in, and we'll line up for the third. We're gonna set them all in right now and then line them up to the string, because we may have to do some adjustments. In a perfect world, there's no water and mud in these holes, and it's a lot easier. I already hooked it a couple times. Just like that. There's mud on the bottom of that one. Got your shovel?
Maybe I'll leave it on there. It might set better.
I already tried that. Alright, got the bottom scraped off. Here's number 3. Like I said, these are just roughly set in. They're not set exact yet. So we just want to bounce them in while I got the help here. Then I can try to get them with a bar and move them where they got to be. They slide pretty good. Usually we bed them in good material so you can slide them. Sometimes stone in the bottom. But this one, watch the string. She's a tipping. The fourth one is in, and we're going to try to straighten these up a little bit. There's so much muck in the bottom. We'll get it. All right, all the beams are set, or piers are set, and to the string line. A little bit of a nightmare to get it done, but it was done. All right, just after lunch, just pumping as much water out of these holes as I can before I backfill. We pinned a couple here, and I got a little pile of water there. I got to pump out. Same with this one as it keeps coming in. Get that all done, then I get this backfill with this material. They're gonna want to tip and float and everything else because of the muck that's here, but we'll get it. Once it's stabilized, it's stabilized. Then this gets all crusher running here. But we're supposed to get a storm of snow tonight and see what happens. All right, let's get this all backfilled. Get her backfilled. She's all pumped out. Finishing up backfilling. Just remember to go nice and soft when you put this backfill in. You just trickle it in. Don't throw it in. You always scrape your edges and let it fall in off the bank. Let it roll in. It's all wet and mucky, so we're just gonna leave that till it freezes. I'm gonna grab the KUBOTA, fix this pile back into here, because the rest of this from this line right where the bucket is now, that line gets crusher run the driveway and then in under here, then the deck above. All right guys, there's my layout. Hopefully you can see it in the pink. I got two sonnet piers going in, concrete piers on those two circles. So that big box I got there in pink is going to be the overdig. Just graded everything out there the best I could with the skid steer, consolidated this pile. It was all wet stuff that I pumped out on the backside, so we'll let that freeze up, firm up, and then it's going to probably get feathered in here and then on the other side of the building. But yeah, everything's nice and straight. I got my line up still. I'm going to take that down now, and I'm going to dig this box right out, and two piers are basically going to be side by side touching, and that's for this, that post's going to go up to hold the stairs. crusher run in and leveled. You can see the water's nice and level on the top, nice thin layer. Let me show you on the print. So these are the 4 that we already got in, and this is the trench I just dug for these 2, which is here. I had my string line up straight, and then we just measure off of here 4 foot. These got to be 4 foot out and 4 foot apart. The string line went across, so how I laid it out was I just went 2 foot and 2 foot, and then the 4 foot I got off it, this pier. And that's to the point where we're at now. And I'm gonna set these 2 piers and call it a day. Back on site. Snow last night and snowing now. 6 more inches coming. Ran out of daylight last night. So here's where I'm at. I got this last hole. Of course, it's up to the 3rd rung with water. I will start pumping. All right, got the pump all hooked up. She's pumping clean water. She is pumping clean water out my gutter system. I'm about sick of this. Take about a half hour, probably pump down, maybe 20 minutes. We'll get in there, and I just got to set these 2 piers to the string. So basically, here's this string. We got to be 4 foot off for these 2 piers and 2 foot off the string. So 2 foot this way, 2 foot this way, 4 foot off the center of this, which there's my black tape for this, the 4 foot mark. And then I'll just measure with a tape measure when I'm down in there. All right, water's all pumped down. Gonna backfill finally. Finally got these piers all set to the line. 2 foot off my marks. Plumb and nice. Backfill with this. Not nice stuff, I know that. But if you put a granular gravel down in there with this kind of water table, what happens if you don't put the same material back in is you create a bathtub. So if I had filled this with gravel, then you create a path for the water to go, because water travels the easiest path. So after this goes through the freeze thaw cycle, oh, that pier just moved. That's the problem putting in the wet stuff. I'll move that in a bit. I'll get them filled up halfway and go check them again. It is nasty stuff. Try to land it half and half on the bank. But it's wet and it's shaley, this stuff. It's not like it's pure clay, so I don't know, whatever. Just don't walk in it, all right? Let it freeze first. All right, guys, here we are, graded out, everything's in. As you see, here's the line, 4 foot apart. Everything stayed pretty good. Had to tweak that one a little bit, but the ground's firmed up enough. Thought it'd be a lot soupier than that, but yeah, that's it. Nightmare piers. As you see, you can stand on this. They'll be able to frame the deck. Stockpile my topsoil again. All right, guys, I will see you guys on the flip side.